As a child, I was fortunate enough to grow up in the home of a small business owner. So I got to grow up watching entrepreneurship unfold. My dad decided that he wanted to open up his own business. He put himself through college working 2 jobs and started his business at a fairly young age. And over the years, he grew it into a very, very successful CPA practice. His growth of that business was fantastic for us as a family because not only did I have this role model of entrepreneurship, but the other thing was we had the perks of growing up with a very luxurious lifestyle. So we lived life with a lot of freedom. We lived in a beautiful home, in a very good neighborhood with good schools. We had a private plane, we had vacation homes, and my dad had set up his business in a way that gave him a lot of freedom to be able to travel with us and for us to experience a lot of amazing things from a very young age. He lived life on his terms. When I was growing up, one of the things that my parents noticed pretty quickly is that I have a competitive spirit and I'm pretty naturally athletic. And so they put me in a lot of sports to help me burn off some of that energy. So I was able to do swimming and soccer, and I played softball and gymnastics when I was younger, and I did a lot of sports. And when my parents kind of saw the sports that I was really good at, they were able to foster that. And so they put me in coaching programs and training programs, and at one point I even actually had quite a few private lessons with people to help me really develop that natural athletic ability. Those opportunities taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about teamwork. It taught me a lot about being disciplined. And it's something that I've really carried through my life, even until now. Today, I'm still very athletic. I love to do yoga. I love hiking. And I'm just passionate about tennis. And as that being my primary sport, I practice a lot. I usually play tennis between 4 and 5 times a week. And I work with a coach privately, and I train with a team. And it's something where I really bring those values and those lessons that I learned as a child of the discipline and the focus and the always practicing to get better into my life. And as a result, every year, I don't think I'm gonna end up in Wimbledon anytime soon, but every year I do get better and better and better, and I move up in the ranks of tennis, and I'm winning more and more matches. I take that very same approach in my business. It's the way that I was taught how to achieve success. And it actually started when I was 5 years old. Yes, I was 5 years old when I started my first business. We had gone on a family vacation to a beach town in California. And I wanted something. I don't actually remember what it was that I wanted, but I wanted something, and my parents were not going to buy it for me. So they said, you've got to earn your own money and get it. And I said, okay then. So there I was, this little girl, this little towhead girl, and I'm on the beach and I'm digging, and I find that there's these sand crabs that are coming up from the sand. And I said to myself, I could sell these. I could sell these as pets. And I went back to my parents. I said, I'm gonna sell sand crabs. And my parents kind of said, honey, I don't know that anyone's gonna really want to buy sand crabs. And I was like, you watch me. You watch me. So I did. I dug up all these sand crabs and I got my bucket, right? So I had some capital investment for my parents because I couldn't afford that myself. And I set up a little stand on the corner of where the beach was and the street to our house. So I had a prime location, right? And I set up this, and I made my own little signage with my crayons. And I sold all of these sand crabs, and I sold them for 25 cents a piece. And at the end of this, when I ran out of sand crabs, so my business was basically over, I had made $6, and I had enough money to afford what it was that I was after. And I very proudly walked back in and told my parents, I'm like, look at all this money I have. And they're like, how did you do that? I'm like, I sold my sand crabs. So I was hooked. 5 years old, and I was hooked. The bug of entrepreneurship had had bit me. But I wasn't really quite ready, obviously, at 5 or even when I graduated college to quite open my own business. So I started in corporate America, and for about 15 years, I was a publicist and a brand marketing strategist for technology companies in the Bay Area. And I loved what I did. And I was very, very successful. And I was able, just through my natural drive and discipline, to be able to move very quickly up the corporate ladders in corporate America. Until one day I saw something. And I worked pretty hard in corporate America. And one day I saw a consultant that had come and submitted a bill for work. And when I saw the bill was more than I made. And I made a really good living. It was more than I made in an entire year. And that was her bill for 2 months of part-time work. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I wanted to start my own business so that I could do what it was that I loved, have more and more freedom to be able to live the life that I want, work when I want, with whom I want, and to get paid really, really well for it. So in 2001, I started my first business. To expand, to get to the kind of business that I wanted to create, I knew I was just gonna have to do it differently. Vacations, forget it. If I wasn't there, I wasn't making money. I really didn't even have a business. I had a practice, and it was dependent on me being there and serving my clients. Otherwise, I was out of luck, and they were out of luck because there was no one else in my company besides me, myself, and I that could help them get what it was that they desired. So I knew that in order to get the kind of freedom that I wanted, I was going to have to expand. And so I looked for a different kind of mentor, not a mentor to just simply get clients, but really one that could help me build my business. And I started training. And over the next several years, I kind of switched my business model a little bit, and I got away from very high ticket consulting, and I started doing a lot of coaching and what's called information marketing, meaning selling my expertise. And the way that this whole thing was kind of poised to me, and it was like selling the dream. It was like, you can make money while you sleep. You don't even have to do anything. You just write down something in an ebook, and you're going to put it online, and you're going to be an overnight millionaire. And I spent a lot of years, using that business model, and still to a certain degree, I use some of it, but something was very off. And I'd gone from having this very, very profitable, very successful consulting practice to adding in this other business model where I was taught to focus 100% on revenue. It was like, and by the way, if you didn't hit the $1 million mark, you hadn't really arrived yet. So I was working harder and harder and harder, and I was investing more and more and more money in my business. So I was making more money as well, but I wasn't keeping any of it. And I knew that something had to be wrong. Something was off, and I just didn't know what it was that was going on. I'd gone from being really profitable and having lots of personal income to making significantly more money, but having significantly less income. This formula wasn't working. This is the thing that no one tells you when you are running a business, is that there's a very, very big difference between being great at what it is that you do, whether that's doctoring or lawyering or marketing or whatever it is that you do. There's a very big difference between being really, really good at that and being good and being educated and being knowledgeable about actually how to run a business successfully. And that's a different skill set. But in order for businesses to grow, you not only have to be really exceptional at what it is that you do for a living, but you also either have to hire someone that has a lot of expertise in running a business, or you've got to learn how to build the business and manage the business and grow the business. Otherwise, it's going to be a recipe for disaster. So I knew that if I was going to have the business that I wanted, more importantly, the life that I wanted, because it's not all about business, right? It's really about creating an extraordinary life experience. I was going to have to make some changes, and real quick. So I again set out and started seeking out trainings and information and working with coaches. And what I realized through this search and through my study was that I'd been taught to focus on the wrong thing. I was taught to focus on revenue. And this focus on revenue was killing my business, and it was nearly bankrupting me. What I really needed to be focused on was profit. And the minute that I switched my direction and I really started focusing on profit and running my business differently and designing my business not only to accelerate my path to profit, but also to accelerate my path to freedom, things turned around and my business took off. And today, my business is more profitable than it has been in the last 10 years. I've got more freedom to do the things that I want to do. And those things include a lot of different things, like hanging out with my friends and family and spending time with my puppies and playing tennis and reading a book by the fire. It's just completely transformed the way that I live and the way that I approach my business. And I kind of was my own first case study, and then I started implementing this in my clients' businesses, and I said, we've been doing this wrong. Like we need to focus on building businesses this way. And my clients then started having amazing success with really focusing on profitability and also designing their business in a way that it aligns with their natural gifts, as well as the way that they prefer to work and the lifestyle that they prefer to have. And when we linked all of those things up, magic happens. And today I'm sharing with other entrepreneurs and other small business owners around the world these strategies and these strategic shortcuts that I've come up with in my business that have worked for me and they work for my clients in a process that we call Profit-Ology. Profit-Ology is the art of designing a business in a way where it accelerates your path to profit and freedom. It's not just about amassing a large amount of money for sport, because that's not really what this is about. What it's about is aligning your business in a way that you're doing what it is that you love, in the way that you're naturally meant to work, because we all have a certain way that we're naturally meant to work. And when you go with that flow, it creates so much more ease and so much less stress, and everything just becomes much more peaceful and simple in your business. And then we design the business to be able to not only give you the revenue that you desire and the profitability that you desire based upon the lifestyle that you want to live, but also making sure that we've set up the business so that you have the time off to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And over the course of working with clients, what I'm able to do is I take them through a process where not only do they learn the 7 steps to be able to master the Profit-Ology process that I teach, but then they have the opportunity to really put it into practice, because learning it isn't enough. As you're learning, part of that is making mistakes. And so I give them an opportunity to be able to be surrounded in a community of like-minded, amazing people with some of my certified profitologist consultants who are guiding them along the way and help them really develop these skills and ingrain them so that they become second nature to them in running their business. And then, of course, if they have any hiccups come up along the way, we're all there to support them and help them move through it. And then once they've got that down, we even kick it up another level, and we really start to have them mastering their business. And this is where, when someone wants to go from a practice to a business, this is where we start really setting in the foundation to be able to scale the infrastructure of the business, giving them more freedom and more leverage. And ultimately, when we do it the way that we do it here at our company and we follow the Profit-Ology process, it actually allows people to create more revenue, keep more money in their own pocket, and have more freedom. And then finally, if there's someone who really truly does want to run an empire type business, we show them how to create the infrastructure and scale it and replace themselves in the business so that they work themselves out of the day-to-day operations of the business. So if you would like to accelerate your path to profit and freedom and create more ease in your business, the very first thing I would do is jump on my website and take our absolutely free Profit-Preneur quiz. What we'll do is we'll ask you a series of questions. It's very quick, and that we will identify which of the 9 Profit-Preneur profiles you are. And then you'll receive your results, which tells you how to accelerate your profit, the things that keep you from being profitable, and who you need to partner with in order to kick your business to the next level. So go ahead, jump on now and take the quiz, and we'll see you soon.
If you are an entrepreneur whose goal it is to be the visionary leader of your business while your company systematically grows, get started now by taking our free Profit-Preneur quiz. You will quickly identify which Profit-Preneur type you are so you can find your personalized path to mastering the art of working smart, not hard, and accelerating your path to profit and freedom.